Viewers have heard of the urgent situation in relation to the illegal, unlawful custody of a man within HMP Perth, Greenock, Kilmarnock, and currently HMP Grampian since 30th of January 2025. As viewers are aware of the case of Donald from prior documentaries and this urgent situation, and what points through evidence seen by the Trust to what is clearly a Freemason stitch-up of an innocent man having been held within the Scottish Prison Service estate since 19th of January 2023, 26 months to date, and is currently in HMP Grampian near Aberdeen, moved aggressively and suddenly 30th January 2025 to one of the most northerly and notorious prisons in Scotland. This establishment is appearing to have dubious connections, currently under investigation, which point to particularly severe establishment corruption within this area, Grampian. This move without any logical rhyme nor reason to this most northerly location is nonsensical, as Donald was kidnapped by South Yorkshire police from his home in South Yorkshire, and the move doesn't add up even by any legal standards. Donald would never have been put into one of the toughest, most northerly prisons in Scotland if any due course of law had been in place. So this is clearly in an attempt to hide Donald away and silence him in what appears to be an establishment cover-up. Donald has no previous convictions, and as you saw in previous podcasts, he has been put through a kangaroo trial, tortured, starved, beaten by guards, mental, physical and psychological abuse. The Trust have found that the Scottish courts have exposed themselves in this case as being full of Freemasonry corruption, and the courts and the Scottish Prison Service are completely and utterly co-joined and complicit. Donald is effectively a political prisoner who has not contracted with the court to be the legal entity, which is what they need for commercial reasons, and because he did not submit to the court, because the court was fraudulent, with no due course of law. For this reason, the corrupt Freemasonry Judiciary are using the Scottish Prison Service as a blackmail torture device to make Donald submit to the court and to break his spirit.
Please listen carefully to the statement from January 2025 and the criminal reality of the Scottish Prison Service estate. This statement is focused on HMP Greenock, under the direction of Morag Stirling, Governor, HMP Greenock, Teresa Medhurst, CEO of the Scottish Prison Service, and Anthony Martin, Chief Operations Manager of the Scottish Prison Service. HMP Greenock, assignees responsible for abuses, including, but not limited to, Ian Dugwid, hall manager, and specially hand-picked guards who inflicted all manner of harassment, intimidation, and torture upon Donald. As assignees of HMP Greenock, who were identified as being prison guard Billy Malone, prison guard Gary Colquhoun, prison guard Kevin McCormack, prison guard Robert Higgins, prison guard Carville, prison guard Laura Carey, and a prison guard, Donachi. All staff members repeatedly hid identification. These abuses, all whilst Donald was being held upon fraudulent uttered and omitted documentation by the Scottish Prison Service corporate entity for a period to date of 26 months. Senior Crown agents who have been served, and so therefore fully complicit, are including, but not limited to, Angela Constance, Scottish Minister for Justice, Teresa Medhurst, CEO of the Scottish Prison Service, Stephen Sandham, Acting Chief Inspector, Russell Findlay MSP, Pauline McNeill MSP, Anas Sarwar MSP, fully aware of the corruption involved within this case. Statement served on the above-mentioned complicit parties in January 2025. That Donald immediately receives registered mail logged and recorded as received within the Scottish Prison Service estate, as there has been premeditated criminal intent to stop communication. That Donald immediately receives the top-up of the credit submitted on canteen sheet 13th January 2025, as there has been premeditated criminal intent to stop communication. That Scottish Prison Service provide all paperwork, evidence and justification to the Trust for the verbal direction meted out by staff members on the instruction of a Dave Allen, Governor, for special security measures against Donald. As there has been premeditated criminal intent to stop communication and enact fraudulent punitive measures and movements between establishments. that Scottish Prison Service, SPS, provide a full and verified custody warrant for the beneficiary Donald, illegally and unlawfully held within the estate of the Scottish Prison Service, upon fraudulent and uttered documentation, currently HMP Greenock, of whom Tony Martin, Divisional Head of Operations. Scottish Prison Service claims doesn't exist. In addition, an immediate cessation of all abuses as stated, covert starvation protocol under the banner of plausible deniability, must stop immediately. Nefarious packaging of food pointing to foul play and tampering, as other inmates are not subjected to said protocol. Donald has been told to refuse this food, and this must stop immediately. Manipulation of exercise. Donald is only let out for exercise, often severely curtailed. He is then immediately locked up 23.5 hours a day. This appears to be special prison instructions, as other inmates are still circulating around the hall whilst Donald is permanently locked down. Manipulation of showers, which are ad hoc yet again. Donald, in addition to this, is being put into premeditated grave danger in the yard and shower area by these criminal, uncouth guards through incitement of inmates to bully Donald, creating the setting up of a life-threatening situation under the banner of plausible deniability. Cessation by the instigators, being the SPS guards, who are utilizing vulnerable victims in custody for coercive control and criminal outcomes, which is a form of intimidation, terrorism, and abuse being used upon Donald. Donald, an innocent man who has never smoked, drank alcohol, never ingested any pharmaceutical nor illicit drugs in his life, as this would be a violation of his Christian faith. He is suffering intensely torturous conditions, both psychological and physical, under the banner of plausible deniability, serious threats to life against Donald. Safeguarding issues, criminal negligence, instigated and managed by agents and complicit parties. Guards are utilizing any methods, i.e., for their gang style, gangsterism, which is a blatantly well-known fact that the instigators are the SPS guards who are utilizing vulnerable victims in custody for coercive control and criminal outcomes, which is a form of intimidation, terrorism, and abuse being used upon Donald. Expletives, gesticulations, and vocabulary, more fitting of 10-year-old schoolyard bullies, a clear inversion mirrored by agents of SPS against this elderly kind, humble and polite Christian man.
As this situation is clearly in the public interest, public awareness is needed as exposure is key here. As seen in previous podcasts, the last being the assault at HMP Kilmarnock. This one is to focus on HMP Greenock, to where Donald was suddenly returned back to post-assault at HMP Kilmarnock. Further updates will follow in relation to the current location, HMP Grampian. We are immensely concerned for his health and well-being, as this is a threat to life situation.
In previous podcasts discussing Donald's story, numerous members of the public have expressed their desire to assist this unfortunate man in the comments section. For those looking to offer support, contact details can be found in this video's description. The Trust has urged anyone who is concerned to also reach out via email to the higher-ups within the Scottish Prison Service and the Scottish Government, as referenced earlier. It is crucial to voice your thoughts, especially considering that these entities have taken to labelling concerned family members, friends, and the general public as clowns in documented communications. Your input can make a difference in this troubling situation. Further updates will be provided regarding the current situation at HMP Grampian, particularly in the public interest, as we shed light on how the judiciary treats individuals who stand firm in their faith. It is becoming increasingly evident that there are troubling patterns at play. Blessings to all viewers of this urgent call to action. Please help spread the message of Donald's suffering far and wide, as it highlights the insidious nature of the Luciferian satanic system designed to subjugate and oppress God's children. Your voice is vital in bringing awareness to this critical issue.
For all that is secret will eventually be brought into the open, and everything that is concealed will be brought to light and made known to all. Luke 8 verse 17.